Hello and welcome back to yet another interview with one Indian student living in Netherlands. So today we have Bansi Popat, who flew from India a couple of years ago and right now she's in Netherlands. So without further ado, let's talk to Bansi and let's hear her out. So Bansi, welcome to this discussion and we are so happy to have you.
Thank you, Prag. I'm really happy to be with you and discuss my experiences and the journey that I have in Netherlands. So good to talk to you again.
Thank you, Bansi. So this session is basically for students who want to know more about the journey of yours, your journey from India to Netherlands, the college that you went to, the program that you studied. We are going to talk about many aspects of that. Before that, let's start with your introduction. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to all the people who are right now watching you?
Yes, I have been doing this introduction with people because, I started a job recently. So let me give a little, history about me. So I did my bachelor's in India. I did my bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering, graduated in the year 2015. And then I moved on to IT consulting, and I was working there for about 3.5 years.
Right.
And that was my first ever job. So I was learning on the job and then growing there. And then suddenly, not suddenly, but I always had this urge of doing my master's and I wanted to go abroad. So that's when I thought that, I have gained sufficient experience here in India and let me get some more international exposure and get my master's degree, study abroad.
Right.
So that's when my search for studying abroad started. I was applying to programs in Europe because my brother was also in Europe. So that was also one of the reasons that it would be easy for me to come to Europe.
Okay.
So, and I was, of course, looking for good universities and English-speaking countries. So I started looking for universities and I came up with this Maastricht University, which is based in Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to do my master's in public policy and human development, different electrical engineering, IT consulting, and then public policy. But I really wanted to test myself that if I can really excel in social sciences field, then moreover, it was to do more with helping people and being part of this. I was looking for opportunities. I was looking for internships, and then I joined Philips as an intern. And then after interning for about 6 or 7 months, I developed my network within Philips, and then I landed up with a full-time opportunity as a business analyst into Philips Innovation Services.
Right.
So I'm happy, and this is all briefly that I could tell about my journey from India to the Netherlands.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bansi. Well, more than you, we all can say that we are very happy for you. And it's a trivia. One of very good friends of mine works with Philips. I believe the new name for Philips is Signify. Is it true?
No, Signify is a separate entity from Philips. It is basically the lighting
division
domain of Philips.
Right.
Yeah, lighting division.
All right. So my next question is basically, well, it was something else, but from your previous answer, I have found two new questions. So the first question is, you said you went to Europe because your family member was there and you felt comfortable there, and obviously they speak English in Netherlands. So having lived there and now you're working there, what do you think is basically in favor of Europe, and why an Indian student should actually choose Europe, especially for those people who have no friends, no connections in Europe? Should they still be choosing Europe, or they can actually go for other countries in West?
For that, my opinion or advice would be, yes, Europe is really a good place to study because you have really high-ranked universities in Europe. So, I mean, having a family member was one of the reasons, but not the main reason. Mm-hmm. Yes, I was looking at the ranking, and I was especially looking for 1 year masters. I did not want to do 2 years masters. So that's how I was looking at. You look at the rankings, and in Netherlands, especially, the universities are really highly ranked, and they are well reputed and recognized all over the world.
Okay.
So and in Europe, I would mainly favor Netherlands because of the language. One of the key decision for me was language. Yes, I had admits from French university as well, French business school as well, but I was contemplating whether to go to France or the Netherlands, but I realized that okay, I am going to a new continent, new
Absolutely.
different country altogether.
Right.
I did not want to have another struggle of learning a language, but
Right.
so that's how I made my decision to come to the Netherlands.
All right. The
So
second.
I would recommend people to come here and study.
Okay, perfect. The second question is related to language. You said language was a big factor for you when you were choosing between France, Germany,
Yeah.
and other countries. So, how important it
Mhm.
is to learn the Dutch language when you want to study or work in Netherlands? Is English enough or not?
English is enough if you want to have your day-to-day activity. Everyone speaks English, and you will never have any difficulties managing your day-to-day life, university life, and sometimes even getting a part-time job
Okay.
at the university, of course. At the university, of course. So, but then learning in Europe, language plays a vital role. So even when you come to the Netherlands, it's good that you start learning some languages because in some of the job applications they would appreciate that yes, you are integrating into the society, you are learning the languages. If you take example of big companies, they would not require you to know Dutch,
Right.
but still it is good, always good to have, and you should learn some language.
I completely agree with you, and I mean, I don't think it's only limited to Europe. If you're going to study in UK, then probably we should speak English, and same for Australia and US as well. We can't really expect to have a better career or an educational journey in these countries without speaking English.
Yeah.
So we strongly recommend Indian students to learn these languages. Uh,
Yes.
how about your experience? Were you already proficient in Dutch, or did you start learning Dutch before you flew to Netherlands? Or you, what is your level of Dutch right now, and how did you actually prepare?
My level of Dutch is pretty basic to few words. Good morning, good afternoon, and thank you, and see you soon, and very pretty basic words. I'm still not learning Dutch, but now now I see that okay, I have more time at my I have more time, so I should start learning language and go to A1 or A2 level basics, so I can give exam and have that diploma in hand. So my language Dutch level is not good at
It's
this
absolutely
moment.
fine. I think it's a brilliant example for all the people watching this video that you could do this. So obviously many can actually get inspiration from you and also try to emulate your journey into their own journeys as well. And you are a living example of Indian students who are able to actually succeed in Europe without even commanding the language. However,
Yeah.
despite saying this, we still recommend students to learn French or German or Dutch whenever they are going to these countries.
Definitely, yes,
It helps a lot.
definitely, no doubt about that.
Absolutely. So take us through your. Let's go back to the very beginning and let's go step by step. And I really want to know what was the application procedure, because when in India we are already aware how to study in India, right? If you want to do an MBA, you just fill the form of CAT or ZAT or other entrance examinations.
Yeah.
What happens when you actually study abroad, especially in Netherlands? So how was the process for you, and how did you actually apply to these universities? Were you aware that these universities are actually the best universities?
Yes, I was doing my research, and it takes a lot of time. You need to have 1 year for research, application process,
Right.
etc. So I was doing my research because it takes time to decide where you would go, which country you would choose. So for Netherlands, the process for studying abroad is basically you need to have SOP, LOR, and your final grades, and even the IELTS level. And also depending on what kind of courses you choose, you need oriented program. So I had to write my SOP, but I also had to write an essay, or I had to recommend a policy
Right.
for an issue which really I want to work on in future.
Right.
So it depends on university to university. So I had to write one policy recommendation paper, and then I had to have letter of recommendation from my university professors, or even my colleagues or my superiors from my workplace.
Right.
So, and I needed IELTS certificate as well. And it was not a business program, so I did not require GRE or GMAT
Absolutely.
score to apply
Absolutely.
here.
All right. So after SOP and LOR and you complete your application, what happens then? So there is an interview, right?
That's also again depends on university to university. Here at Maastricht University, I did not need to have an interview.
Right.
I was basically judged on my paper, academic paper that I had written.
Oh, yes.
But then when I had applied to another business school, Maastricht School of Management,
Right.
for MBA program, yes, I had to have an interview with the study advisor so that they understand why actually you are choosing to study there. So
Right.
that's where you have interviews as well.
Okay, because your program was a bit unconventional, not say unconventional, but a bit different from regular MBA programs. Yours was a
Yes, correct.
research-based policy program, and that's why you had research papers, and probably you were the better candidate. Most of the MBA
Yeah.
applicants in India, I don't think they would have research papers with them. So probably for you, it made more sense to apply for this program. So once you get your admission, what happens then? After the party, of course, what happens then? What is the visa procedure? Take us through.
Yeah, visa process. So let me recall. That was 2019.
You can give
And
some
visa.
basic tips.
Yeah, okay. So basic tips are basically, once you get accepted, you get all the process or all the processes taken care by the university. They send you the documentations which you need to fill out because university acts as your sponsor.
Right.
So you fill out those documents, and then for Netherlands, it's only in Mumbai or Delhi you could get your visa, your passport stamped.
Right.
And there's no hard process or no hard interview with the immigration officer. So
Right.
once everything is approved from the university and the embassy in India,
Right.
you get a student visa. And with that student visa, you have 3 months basically to travel to Netherlands. So any day within 3 months, you can travel to the Netherlands and come here and get your residence permit sorted with your university and the municipality in the Netherlands.
So Bansi, the next question is basically what happens when you land in Netherlands? This is probably the first time you landed abroad, or you have been abroad before. How was your experience? Any culture shocks?
Yeah, when you land there, university is always the international office of the university is always there to support you.
Right.
So I landed in Amsterdam and I had to come to Maastricht. That's basically, Amsterdam is north of the Netherlands. Maastricht is down south of the Netherlands. So you can coordinate with the university offices, and there will be student ambassadors who can who guide you through the process. So you at least they let you know how you can reach Maastricht station.
Right.
So they are there to pick you up, and they even give you the SIM card, which is free of cost. So you get a SIM.
So Bansi, talk us through about your student experience at the university, because you went in 2019. COVID was still not there in 2019. So I'm sure you had some kind of exposure in the university and the culture that people actually go for to study abroad. So talk about it in a bit.
Yes, when I went in September 2019, there was no COVID, so I pretty much enjoyed my college life for for one semester.
Right.
So yes, the student life or the culture that you want to experience, it's really good. At the university, you have your orientation days for 1 or 2 days where they introduce you to the program, the faculty,
Right.
and you get along with your fellow students. So you meet people from different nationalities. You're trying to make friends, and then you even have a city tour. The university takes you to on a city tour, so you get acquainted with city. And there are certain festivals or like festivals for 3-4 days, which is there for whole of the university.
Right.
So for Maastricht University, we have a fest called as Incom, where you have different festivals at night. You have some parties, some music festivals, some sports activities, so that you can bond with people from your university. So that was really good. That was the initial days, but then when the actual university starts, you basically meet your classmates who you are going to stay with for whole year and who you are going to study with. So for Maastricht University, if I talk about specifically this university, the university is very much known for its PBL system, problem-based learning. So you are divided into groups of 12 to 15 people, and you learn from a problem. You have a problem, you discuss the problem and come to a solution all together by discussing amongst each other. And there's of course a professor and a tutor who guides your discussion, but it's you who is coming up with solutions and discussing the problems.
Right.
So yeah, those people become the closest people in your semester. So yes, I really had fun. We would have, when we have tutorials in the morning at 8 a.m., yeah, we come a little early, so we get energized by dancing in the morning.
Right.
Someone makes some banana bread breakfast for all of you. So it's a really good experience when you are with people from different nationalities. You learn a lot about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. How about accommodation process? Because how easy or tough it is for an international student, especially going from India to Netherlands for the first time. And do we get accommodations quite easily? Do you have to book it in advance from India itself, or do you actually do it there? So talk about it, please.
Yeah. I'll give you a little insight.
Yeah.
First of all, Netherlands, we have housing crisis. So and that to you I being in Maastricht, a student city.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to find accommodation. So it's always advisable that you find your accommodation 4 or 5 months in advance. But as soon as you get your admit,
Right.
you start looking for houses. And the tips for houses would be, yes, university would give you certain websites where the housing agencies which are affiliated with the university, so you could look up with them. Or there are Facebook groups which are really, really helpful where you are looking for where they are looking for roommates, or you can even find people who want to find a house and looking for roommates. So you club together, find a new house for yourself. So Facebook groups, housing agencies,
Mhm.
they are very much reliable to get housing. And one tip would be never pay upfront until you have seen the place,
Absolutely.
because there are a lot of scams going on with students.
True,
So
true.
until you look a place, never book it.
I agree.
Of course, I mean, until and unless it's from the university and verified sources. So that's very important. Yeah.
All right, thank you. One question related to accommodation, and not basically accommodation, but regarding all the expenses a student can actually incur in a month. So what would be the average expenditure considering, let's say, if an Indian student is considering to study in Netherlands, especially in your university or your city? Could you talk about average monthly expenses, including all groceries and food and accommodation, everything?
Approximately, I think 600 to 700. I mean, if you really live on budget.
Right.
But even the government recommends that you need to have budget of 900 euros per month. But
Okay.
I myself did not have to. Yeah, you need to show that much amount first of all in your account to be able to get a student visa.
Okay.
So, but then me personally, I think I could manage within 600 euros max.
Okay.
So it was manageable. And then also depends on the kind of housing you live in. So there are housing subsidies as well you get, but again, there are certain conditions that your house has to meet in order to be eligible for housing subsidy.
True.
So yeah.
Agreed. All right. Thank you so much, Bansi, for all these answers. Now let's talk about something which is probably the most interesting to the audience and also for all the students who want to study abroad. That is basically the job, right? So let's come to the job process. How easy or tough it is. I am sure it is not easy, far from being easy, but you talk us through because you've been there, you're already in that situation. You were a student before, now you're working full time. Then you, before that you were an intern. So talk about the whole process of application and how do you apply? Is it easy? Is it tough? Please tell us your story.
Okay, so yes, me personally, my personal strategy was I wanted to get my foot into a corporate so that I can, develop my network and then get a full-time job. So I was basically starting from an internship. Though I had 3.5 years of experience, it is a bit difficult and challenging to get a full-time position immediately after you have graduated.
Okay.
And so my strategy was that yes, I can start an internship and then develop network and then get into a full-time position. So regarding this, what tip I would give to the students is either choose a program where there is a possibility that you can do an internship, as in it gives you a credit so that your university also supports you an internship, or find a 2-year program. With me, I did my internship after doing my master's. So it was one of a case that I did internship after my master's in the Netherlands, because in Netherlands there is a rule that when you want to do an internship, the companies they mandate that you need to be enrolled as a student in the university.
Okay.
So that's why this tip comes, that please choose a program which is either 2 years or an internship is part of your program.
Okay.
So in case you want to take the path of doing an internship and then looking for full-time position.
Right.
Because after the graduation, the chances of getting internships are very, very minimal, because this is the rule here with the companies. So yeah, that's how I developed my network and found the job.
No, that's a very good advice, because many people in India would not be aware, and let alone students, people, I think, who are consultants or agents, even they would not be aware of the fact that they should be recommending 2-year program to students if somebody wants to go for an internship, or they can't really go for an internship if they have already graduated, because companies would be looking for people who are already enrolled in their masters or bachelors. So that's a very solid advice. Thank you so much for that, Bansi. Now, tell us about your job. Like, what do you do at Philips, and how did you get this job? Are you actually enjoying it, or are you missing India?
Okay. So my experience at Philips, I'm really enjoying it, because I'm into industry consulting and Philips Innovation Services, where basically all the innovations take place. So my department basically deals with the artificial intelligence, Industry 4.0, and digital supply chain. So we are business analysts who consult internal Philips or the external clients on these problems and these projects. So every day is a learning opportunity for me. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm very happy that I am to this space, because with being an analyst, business analyst, or a consultant, as you say, you get to work with different kind of projects. So even if you are not sure where you particularly have expertise, you can do different types of projects, and then you find out for yourself where is your expertise, and then you grow in that particular direction. So I'm very happy that I landed in this particular space. So, and Philips is located at High Tech Campus in Eindhoven, which is also known as Innovation Campus. So there are so many innovation companies like ASML or Philips, and then what else? Brainport. So a lot of innovation happens, and you can really network with people from other companies as well and learn a lot about new technologies. So
So you're working in Eindhoven?
Office is in Eindhoven, but I work from home right now. But I visit office once a month at least, when we see our colleagues face to face.
Perfect. One of my friends also work at Signify, and she's working in the same city, Eindhoven, right now, working from home. But hopefully, when borders open, I do hope to come to Eindhoven, and probably to your city as well, and we hope that we get to meet each other. It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for all the suggestions. I am out of questions. If we have more questions coming from people, I would probably can I share your LinkedIn URL with students in the description, so that they can get in touch with you if they want to study in Netherlands?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm always happy to help. And another tip regarding the job search that I would want to give people is, because I have been through this journey and my friends have been through this journey. So let me give more tips, which I keep remembering.
Right.
So I would say that always develop your network through LinkedIn, even if you don't know people, but you're interested in the job in their company. Just shoot them a message, ask them for a call. You talk to them, and then ask more questions, and that's how you develop network. Or join some networking events, or join some groups like Internations, Meetup, where you get to have networking events. Apart from networking, I would also advise that I have seen this in people, that people with zero experience, it's a bit more challenging to get job. So if you have some experience on your hand, that is an advantage for you, and it will work in your favor. So if you come with an experience, it will be good for you. But I'm not disheartening them. If you have zero experience, still there are options like traineeships, Netherlands, or even in Europe, the traineeships, but they are really competitive.
Right.
But traineeships are there for especially people who have zero experience. So you can apply for traineeships. And the job fairs of the universities, you can always attend and network. So network is one biggest advice I would give to people.
Absolutely. You know what? I always ask my, friends and alums and students who I talk to, including you. I was, about to ask you for some suggestions for Indian students, but thanks to you, I'm so glad that you already gave your wonderful suggestions. I am sure that people who are actually serious to study abroad, especially in Western Europe and Netherlands, including your program at your university, they would be very much inspired, and they would have a lot of information thanks to you. If they have any, so this is for audience, if you have any questions, any doubts, please feel free to connect with Bansi. Her LinkedIn URL is in the description. If you have questions for us, for me, or any other question that comes to your mind when you want to study abroad, please put your questions in the comment section, and we would be very happy to connect with you. Now, regarding Bansi, thank you so much once again. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And I seriously believe you're making India proud. You're a true brand ambassador for India in Netherlands. So keep doing that, and just stay safe and come home soon. We are waiting to see you.
Yes, it was really good experience and a good conversation that I had, and I'm really glad that I could be on this video, and I can help more students who are ambitious to study here in Europe.
Thank you on behalf of everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And you also stay safe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We meet soon. Okay?
Yep. All right. Bye.